Hello and welcome to another episode of Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I am Laura Cotter.
And I'm Skye Orchard.
And we're so happy to have you with us today. All right, Skye, you ready for today's question?
Let's do it.
Can we record two and then we can choose which one is better?
Sure.
Okay, or we'll leave both of them in if they're both good.
Okay.
So, first question. If you were Sabrina or yourself and you were having a rough day and you wanted to turn somebody you hated into an animal, which animal would you choose to turn them into?
Oh, that's a good question, Laura. Roses and orchids.
Would it be a goat or would you think you would do something different?
I mean, a goat's not bad.
It's not bad.
Amazing. We won. Let's just stop the episode right here.
We're done. It's only downhill from here.
There you go, ladies and gents and gentle persons out there. We are done. I'm trying to think what's like the phrase when someone betrays you and it's not a snake. We're not doing snakes, but you know what I'm trying to say?
Like a backstabber?
Isn't there like an animal equivalent that's not a snake?
I mean, I know snake in the grass.
That's gross. A weasel or a ferret, they're pretty entertaining.
Yeah?
Or no, a puffin, because then I can just be amused by a puffin all day. Or however long they are an animal. Final answer, puffin.
Puffin. Okay.
What about you?
I don't know. I feel like it should be like something in the rodent family, but like not a rat because that's too obvious, but like maybe a possum.
Ooh.
I feel like being a possum would be pretty rough for a day. Or like a mole and have like one of those weird mouths. Like I'd be pretty grossed out if I was turned into a mole.
Yeah, don't be a mole near Hilda either.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
might get whacked.
Don't be a mole in the Sabrina universe. All right. You want option number 2 question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So in this episode, Brady Anderson is Sabrina's spirit guide. Which sports person would be your spirit guide?
Ooh. That's a good one too. So many options.
So what sports categories are you thinking of?
Well, instantly I think women's soccer because it's gay. But there's many a role model within there. I think right now I'm leaning towards Alyssa Nahir, just because she's an awesome goalie and really rocked the Olympics for us. Or, oh my gosh, there's so many. The entire United States women's Olympic soccer team, please. And thank you.
That'd be awfully crowded.
It's fine. We'll make the space. I have a prediction.
Okay, what's your prediction?
You're going to say someone gymnastics related.
So that's what I was thinking of because I was like, okay, like the most sports people I know are either gymnastics or Formula One related. The Formula One guys, most of them don't complete a high school education really because of racing. So I wouldn't necessarily trust any of them with myself. And then I was like, okay, maybe gymnastics, which like the obvious answer is Simone Biles. Like who doesn't want Simone Biles as your spirit guide? But then I think she might be a little too good for me. So the one that I think I'm going to settle on, who I did not know before the Summer Olympics, but who I've come to just absolutely adore is Ilona Maher from the rugby team.
Oh, she is amazing. I was thinking her too.
She's so amazing, but she's also sarcastic and witty and like, but also will like knock you on your ass. And I think that's what I need in a spirit guide.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Ilona Maher.
I was expecting you to say our friend Steve for a moment there.
No, Steve is too good to go in this brain. Steve cannot go in this brain.
Steve is too pure. We must protect him at all costs.
Sorry, Pommel Horse Steve, you cannot come inside my brain. Also, while I trust him to come in clutch on Pommel Horse and to solve a Rubik's Cube in a really short amount of time, do I trust him to guide me through some tough decision making?
I mean, if your brain is as twisted and messed up as a Rubik's Cube, maybe. If you're any of these athletes we've mentioned, email us.
Oh, yeah. If Ilona Maher wants to come on here, Simone Biles wants to come on our podcast and talk about Sabrina, like...
The entire women's soccer team?
Simone Biles could just have this podcast. I'll just give it to her.
I bet our friend Steve would secretly be a Sabrina fan.
I feel like Jade Carey from the gymnastics team is probably a secret Sabrina fan. She seems like the right type. Jordan Childs, anybody.
This is what dreams are made of.
If you are a mildly famous person and want to come talk to us, we will have you.
I'll just turn over this podcast to you.
Except for the one gymnast who shall not be named. You cannot have this podcast.
I'm looking forward to the PowerPoint presentation you made me to keep me apprised of what even happened.
Oh, it's on slide 11.
Love it.
There are transitions. I showed my mom my first draft. She was really excited about it.
Cannot wait. We will share with the general public once it is a gold medal masterpiece.
Yes. And this has now become a gymnastics podcast. Apologies, everyone. So this is season 1, episode 14. Episode title is Sabrina Through the Looking Glass, which, as we talked about last time, is a reference to Alice in Wonderland. Our TV guide description. So we have our 2 options for description. I have my favorite. I want to know which ones you prefer. Sabrina's in a foul mood, and only baseball great Brady Anderson can help her out of her slump. And I literally just noticed that foul and slump are in quotation marks because they're sports terms. Our second option, a stressed out Sabrina gets a huge wart, which worsens her mood and causes her to seek solace in solitude in an alternate world inside her mirror. Do you have a preference?
I mean, the second description matches the title more.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first description is like, wait, what?
I fully forgot there was a sports person in this episode. I remembered the general feel of the episode and the general plot line. Fully forgot there was a sports person involved.
Yeah, I feel like neither of us are well versed in the baseball realms.
No. Also, 30 years later, I don't think Brady Anderson is a name that has transcended through time. There were some late 90s, early 2000s baseball players that if you said their names, I'd at least mildly recognize them. This is not one of them.
Maybe in Baltimore, he's still their man.
Baltimore people, please do not send us hate mail.
I mean, we're not saying we're anti-Brady.
No, just he's not known in our area, at least.
He's a dude and he played baseball.
We are not baseball folk. I was much more into the NBA at this point of time, as everybody in Utah was, let's be honest.
I was a Bulls fan living in Utah.
Oh, how did you survive?
I was that snotty little second grader, I think, wearing my Michael Jordan jersey to school in Utah on the big game days between the Jazz and the Bulls and saying, suck it. I didn't get stabbed. I'm here today.
You're lucky. I had piano lessons last week, and the little 4th grade boy I teach has been telling me all about the Olympic sports that he's been watching. And so I was like, oh, what did you watch this week? And he's like, I watched basketball and something else. And I was like, so who are your favorite Olympians then right now? And he's like, well, Simone Biles. And I'm like, yes, everybody's is. And then he was like, and that LeBron James guy is pretty cool too, I guess. And I'm like, I love that in our world, there is a 4th grade boy where Simone Biles ranks #1 all time. And then LeBron James is an afterthought.
There is a little hope in this world.
Those parents, they're doing a good job. This episode originally aired on January 10th, 1997, directed by Liz Plonka, and this is a new director for us. She mostly directed talk shows, including things like The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Wayne Brady Show, Lights Out with David Spade, but also did Clarissa Explains It All, so that's their connection to Melissa Joan Hart, and then also did Bill Nye Saves the World recently. Writer for this episode is Nell Scoville, who's a standard on this show. And we only have 2 guest stars. The first is Brady Anderson, and I looked up information about him and baseball. Played for the Boston Red Sox in 1988. Played for the Baltimore Orioles in 1988 to 2001, which seems like a very long career to me. Again, I don't know anything about baseball. That seems like a very long career back then. And then played for the Cleveland Indians in 2002. He holds the franchise's single season record for total bases, 369 in 1996, and number of times hit by pitch, 20. I don't know what that means, but there were 24 of them in 1999. The thing I found interesting is he's dating somebody named Stephanie, who is a former member of K-pop group The Grace since 2020. That's the thing I got excited by.
Have you listened to The Grace?
They are like one of the OG K-pop girl groups. They were well before my time of getting interested in K-pop, but I have heard a lot about them. So now I feel like I need to listen to a song or two. We also have James Fields back again as a student. Reminder that he is Melissa Joan Hart's boyfriend at this point in time. He was also in Terrible Things and Geek Like Me.
He's Melissa Joan Hart's boyfriend?
Yeah, we talked about this on
We did not.
Yes, we did. Because I looked it up and it was in my show notes, and that's why I remembered it.
I completely skipped you saying that. I must have, or I don't know.
They dated until 1998, so we have about 1 more year maybe left of him popping up in episodes.
I'm questioning my sanity now. It's a common occurrence, so it's fine. Everything's fine. No, it's great. Great.
Great. So speaking of great things, what's your overall feeling about this episode?
I did expect more Alice in Wonderland references just since it was going so strong with the title. Our buddy Nell Scoville really loves to make us a drinking game, though. This time it's been the word great. But no, it was fun. It was a cute little episode. It was funny trying to watch Brady try and act. I think that's my review.
I like this episode, despite the fact that I completely forgot Brady Anderson was in it. I think it's actually a really, really good depiction of those bad moods you get into, especially as a teenager when you have so little control over your emotions. And I kept going back and forth between like, oh my gosh, Sabrina is so annoying and such an awful person. And then being like, oh no, that's just Melissa Joan Hart actually playing a teenager and playing a teenager well. Because teenagers are kind of terrible people sometimes, / a lot of the times. I'm still like this sometimes. Like if I was a witch at age 37, I would definitely still be trapped in my own bad mood mirror. Probably more often than I should.
Hey, but at least you'd have some alone time.
I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking about asking that as a question. I was like, would you like to go through the mirror? And I'm like, absolutely. All like once a day, I need to go through that mirror.
Sign me up.
I need to be somewhere where no one can talk to me.
Have a little productive moment, learn how to read backwards even.
I ended up getting at work a little sign that says like virtual meeting in progress because people like, does not matter what I look like, how deep in thought I look or how busy I look, people just come up and start chatting at me. So when I have virtual meetings, I actually have to like put the little sign up. And now I'm thinking I should just do it when I'm not in a virtual meeting to keep people away.
And then you look very busy and very productive.
Man, that's what I should have been doing throughout the Olympics. We should have just had the Olympics.
Multi-screen.
Dang it, 2 more years, Winter Olympics. That's what I'm doing. Okay, let's get into this. Our cold open starts with Hilda, Zelda, and Sabrina doing yoga in the living room. Hilda is not having fun, but Sabrina points out it's a sport where you can't get hit in the face with a ball. Zelda instructs them all to move to the lotus position.
One of the best positions because you don't have to do much.
They chant and attempt to empty their minds. Soon, Sabrina is levitating until she hits her head on the ceiling and drops back down to the ground. And what are any of them wearing? Zelda's in a black jumpsuit with a lycra bodysuit underneath, and Sabrina and Hilda are in some attempt at Indian or Middle Eastern clothing that is just way too ornamental for casual sit down on the floor, do yoga things. Why are they in such different types of outfits? Is it because Zelda actually knows what she's doing? But that's also not a yoga outfit, a jumpsuit and lycra. I don't know. But I do know is that I want Hilda's gold headband. That's what I want out of this scene.
Maybe Zelda's just really clinging on to the 80s look.
Maybe. I don't know why the 3 of them were not matching. It was weird.
Costume department, please email us.
I would love to have somebody actually from the costume department, especially the woman who won or got nominated or won for that Academy Award a couple episodes ago. Yes, I would love to have her on here because I have so many thoughts about all their clothes and questions, and I want to know where they got a lot of them. Our outfit intro is also a little weird this week. It's a mermaid outfit with some very long blonde hair that's strategically placed. And Sabrina doesn't say anything. She just spits out some water and shrugs.
She gets a pretty good arc spitting out that water. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah. Sabrina is getting ready for school and knocks her biosphere off her desk.
Okay, cauldron watch. While you don't see the cauldron, you do see some pens sticking out of what appears to be a round black thing. I just sighed out loud while watching this episode. We're only like a minute in and just long sigh. Anyways, back to you, Laura. This has been Cauldron Watch.
Is that the only time we get Cauldron Watch this episode?
Sorry. We'll have to go back to the weather report.
Because I almost started typing that and then I was like, nope, this is Skye's moment. I can't take this from Skye.
Don't you dare steal it.
Sabrina then notices something on her forehead and looks in the mirror. She screams as she looks at a giant wart. And I screamed as I looked at the pictures that are hanging next to her mirror that look like either pictures of a creepy doll or maybe a Victorian child. And I don't know why she'd have either one of those.
They were horrifying. I think those, if they want to make a truly scary Halloween episode, there's your inspiration right there, writers.
Also, it's a little hanging decoration and all 3 pictures are the same. Why do you need 3 copies of the same creepy girl child picture?
So many horror reasons are spewing through my mind right now.
That's the thing I'm probably most angry about in this episode are these pictures. Everything else is fine. These pictures, I do not like them. And again, set design, we'd love to speak with you. Downstairs, Zelda's working on her laptop and Hilda's reading the paper, and Salem asks her to check his stocks. I was just curious because I saw that Zelda had a laptop. In 1997, a laptop would cost between $2,000 and $2,500, or in today's money, $4,000 to $5,000. And in which case, I would not own a laptop.
Not at all.
Also, what is Hilda wearing this episode? What is this clown shirt?
I didn't think it was bad. It matches her personality.
It does, but I hate it. On a scale of creepy Victorian child pictures, the shirt ranks like just below them.
Wow.
I do not like this shirt. I said the only thing I was mad about was the pictures. I lied. I'm also angry at this shirt.
Oh, that's how you really feel, Laura.
Caroline Ray's a lovely woman. Why would you put her in that outfit? Sabrina comes stomping downstairs and points out her wart. The aunts are excited. It's her first wart. Sabrina wants to know how to get rid of it. They're usually caused by stress, so she just needs to calm down and it will disappear. Sabrina repeats, I'm calm to herself, but her wart is still there. She's not going to school with it. The aunts point out it's just part of being a witch. Hilda had one on the end of her nose for a decade. At least Sabrina can cover hers with a hat. Hilda zaps her an Orioles baseball cap. Hilda is a Brady Anderson fan.
Random. I did not at this point know who Brady Anderson was. And so I Googled him, and there is a photo of him. I included it in our notes for you, at least, Laura, where he looks very Hugh Jackman, circa X-Men, beginning X-Men. So we'll have to share this on our socials, because once you see him in the episode, it's like, nah. But in this photo, it's like, damn.
He has like a Hugh Jackman smile going on in this picture, too.
Anyways, that was my random tangent about, wait, who's Brady Anderson? Potential Hugh Jackman lookalike at times.
/ dater of a former K-pop girl group member.
We got your new bio for you, Brady. You're welcome.
Sabrina asks again to stay home. Everything is going wrong. She even broke her biosphere and her magic can't fix it.
Oh, and then we learn a new magic rule, because we just get them randomly, that number 7 plastic repels magic, which that means items that have nylon, polycarbonate in them, so food containers, signs, displays, computers and electronic devices, DVDs, and sunglasses could potentially all repel magic at any point moving forward. Guess we'll have to watch and see, but if they break this rule already, I'll be very disappointed.
I have a feeling that rule is going to be broken.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so do you think, because I can almost guarantee somebody's going to conjure a pair of sunglasses at some point, or like a CD or something, or somebody's going to zap in a computer. So do you think they prevent them from being conjured, or do you feel like you just can't alter them with magic?
Maybe it dulls magic over time as a repelling effect. I don't know. They don't give me enough context. Besides, it repels magic. What does that mean, Zelda? Leaving me in the dark once again.
Yeah. Huh. We'll keep that in the back of our mind.
Chiseling out what this magical world and system is, just at the cost of my sanity. It's fine.
I will tell you, this show has made me never want to write anything ever, because I would absolutely forget about something I had established as a rule, and like 3 pages later be like, never mind, that doesn't exist.
That's why there's jobs that are just checking continuity for other people. Maybe that's what I should try and go into.
Maybe. The aunts insist Sabrina still go to school. She leaves, muttering great under her breath repeatedly. Sabrina struggles to open her locker, still saying great over and over. Jenny comes up to ask Sabrina a burning question, but it's not a great time for Sabrina. She's late to meet Harvey.
Want to point out that we actually get Jenny 2 episodes in a row after having a drought of Jenny.
Yeah, it's been nice to see, like, Libby, Mr. Poole, Harvey, Jenny.
The gang's all back together.
Outside episodes have been fine, but, like, this is nice. This is, like, back to normal. Mr. Poole stops Sabrina in the hallway to discuss her hat and Brady Anderson, which, again, I don't know much about baseball, but pop culture has led me to believe that Boston and Massachusetts are pretty solidly Red Sox fans. So I don't imagine a lot of people in a Massachusetts high school would come up and compliment an Orioles hat. I could be wrong.
Makes sense to me. Baseball people of the world, check in.
Red Sox fans, let us know.
Episode has just become a plea for all these people who actually know things to check in with us.
We have a podcast where we just talk about things we don't know.
Oh,
It's the opposite of most podcasts.
it's what makes us unique.
I did check, though, to see if there was like a Red Sox Orioles rivalry. And the answer I got was no. Boston's main rivalry is with New York, mostly because Boston has firmly just decimated the Orioles in every comparison. So, yay, Red Sox.
Unless you're an Orioles fan, in which case,
Or sorry, condolences, Orioles.
we're a neutral party in the baseball world.
This is going to be the episode where we get the most hate mail.
I don't know. I accidentally called horse girls out, and it was actually hobby horsing that I was trying to describe.
And now my Instagram, if we ever want proof that our phones listen to us, my Instagram reels are now filled with hobby horse suggestions.
Amazing.
And I send every single one of them to you.
I have noticed the uptick in hobby horse posts you've sent me. So apologies once again to the horse girls and the hobby horse girls.
I mean, I've seen them jump now. I've seen the videos. I can't jump like that, let alone with a stick between my legs.
Very impressive.
That should be in the Olympics. Let's get rid of breakdancing and put in the hobby horse girls.
Breakdancing could be a whole nother tangent,
we
which we are not going to do.
Can't.
Back to Sabrina, Laura.
Sabrina's going to show Harvey their project. The biosphere was supposed to show how the rainforest is the perfect self-supporting ecosystem, but she dropped it. So now it shows the devastation caused by greedy timber companies. Harvey points out that it's just a jar of dirt. But Harvey has a contribution to the project. A spider monkey puppet named Marty, who is truly the star of this episode. There was not enough Marty in this episode. Too much creepy doll photos, not enough Marty. Sabrina is unimpressed. Harvey ducks under the desk to try and demonstrate and talks for the puppet. Sabrina tries to like it, but she hates it. Harvey knows Mr. Poole will give them an A for the puppet, but Sabrina insists that they stick with the biosphere.
I was genuinely shocked that Harvey was able to retain so much information about spider monkeys, just given his track record of being able to remember schoolwork and how he studies and everything like that. So good job, Harvey.
I think spider monkeys are probably a special interest for Harvey. That boy can't tell you much about mitosis, but he can tell you about spider monkeys.
Found his niche.
Yeah. In class, they are giving their presentation, and the class passes around the biosphere. Libby notes that it's just a jar of dirt. Unfortunately, that is their project. Harvey steps up to save them with the spider monkey puppet. Mr. Poole loves it. Sabrina still hates it and hides her face in her hands. The screen fades to the end of the presentation where Sabrina has scooted her chair far away from Harvey and Marty. That's fun to say, Harvey and Marty. Mr. Poole praises the creativity and asks for questions.
Another great line of, "You really brought extinction to life."
I like that one too. Libby asks if they are free for her little brother's birthday party, and I would 100% wear Libby's top in this episode. It was nice. It was a little black and white floral number.
I would wear Hilda's top over Libby's top.
The other outfit comment I had was Harvey's outfit. I can't complain about Hilda's shirt and not point out that Harvey is wearing a dice shirt that looks like he's going to Atlantic City rather than high school.
I think in clothing I would wear for this episode, of the three we've given so far, it would be Harvey's shirt first, Hilda's, and then Libby's.
That makes sense for you.
Thank you.
You would pull off that dice shirt. Because you would accessorize, and that's what Harvey does not do.
Trying to think of what I would even accessorize with.
I feel like you could get like a nice like necklace or like a nice gold like bracelet or watch.
Gold chain it up. Combat boots.
Mm-hmm.
Pants with multiple pockets.
Some cool sunglasses. Get those like poker player sunglasses that they wear at the tables.
Ready to go to Vegas. Let's road trip.
Or Wendover.
Party bus to Wendover. Your mom's been wanting to do it for years. Got my outfit. I'm gonna text her now.
In the hallway, Sabrina tells Harvey that she's never been so humiliated. Harvey doesn't get it, and then Libby walks by and asks him if they can tell her how to get to Sesame Street.
You know that song never actually tells you how to get to Sesame Street?
It's because it's a secret. That's why they're asking. You can't just look that up on Google Maps.
It's part of the Muppet Protection Program.
You have to go through a linen closet to get there.
Figured it out.
Harvey points out that Mr. Poole liked it. Sabrina is going to eat lunch alone. Harvey and Marty stand in the hall, dejected. In the cafeteria, Sabrina is reading The Bell Jar and eating 3 puddings when Jenny joins her. The Bell Jar, for those of you who don't know, is a book by Sylvia Plath, where the protagonist's descent into mental illness likely parallels Plath's experiences, what may have been clinical depression or bipolar 2 disorder. Plath died by suicide a month after its first United Kingdom publication. So that's a very dark joke. Add it to the book club list with the shipping news, which is still on my wait list on my Libby app.
The Bell Jar has been sitting on my want to read for a couple of years now.
When we get to the end of this season, I think we have a book club episode where we discuss the books we've talked about in this show.
Agreed.
We'll do a book club episode and a movie review episode when we finally watch Space Grandma.
So many weird movies to watch.
Jenny knows something must be wrong, but Sabrina asks her to discuss her burning question from before. Jenny starts to explain how she wants to cut her hair. Sabrina asks her to go on, but then mutes her with magic, which is the moment I was like, oh, that's mean, Sabrina. But also, have you ever not wanted to do that to somebody, even though you love them a lot?
The Jekyll and Hyde moment. It's great, but also not.
While Jenny continues to silently discuss her hair question, if you watch it on Hulu with the captions on, it will actually tell you what Jenny is saying. She's like, I want to cut it short, but I just wish I would know how it would look. And I want it to be like a Joan of Arc thing. It was like, what? Only Jenny would look to Joan of Arc for style inspiration.
Amazing.
So while Jenny's still silently talking, Libby comes up and asks Sabrina why she's wearing her hat and pulls it off her head, revealing the wart. Sabrina runs away while Jenny silently yells after her. Sabrina conjures a snow day when she gets into the hallway. Libby comes out of the cafeteria to mock Sabrina again, and Sabrina turns her into a goat. Once again, Sabrina struggles to get into her locker, but this time she zaps it, causing the door to break, then stomps home in the snow. Zelda sits at the kitchen table working on her computer and guesses that Sabrina caused the blizzard. Sabrina also admits that she turned Libby into a goat and starts to walk away, but Zelda grabs her. Zelda asks her what's wrong. Sabrina has to be a witch, has to be immortal, has to be a teenager, and has to be a girl all at the same time, which is a very short precursor to America Ferrera's monologue in the Barbie movie.
Foreshadowing.
Salem pipes up that at least she still has her thumbs and a door on her bathroom as she stomps upstairs.
Salem giving us the grounding and perspective we truly need.
Hilda runs into her upstairs and shows Sabrina her Brady Anderson baseball card, but Sabrina is unimpressed. Hilda offers to get her flan to cheer her up, but Sabrina just wants to be left alone. And we are officially adding flan to the cookbook. Did you know, however, there are two different types of flan, depending on if you're talking about the US or the UK flan?
I did not. What does this episode feature?
The US flan. So that is a custard dessert with a clear caramel sauce. In the UK, it's an open, sweet, or savory tart.
I think I want the UK version after watching this episode.
I am not a big fan of this kind of a texture.
Yeah, there was a little too much wiggly jiggly. At the start, I was like, oh yeah, flan's good. And then you just kept seeing it throughout this episode, and it was...
Don't like Jell-O, not a big pudding person, don't want anything to do with this. Sabrina stares at her reflection in her bedroom mirror and moans about her wart. Suddenly, her reflection is talking back to her and making fun of her. Sabrina is sick of people trying to cheer her up, but she just wants to be left alone. Her reflection offers to have her go into the mirror so she can be undisturbed. Sabrina immediately steps through to a mirror reflection of her bedroom. Her reflection tells her it's a great place for quiet reflection. Haha. Sabrina tries to read a magazine, but everything is printed backwards, so she'll just look at the pictures. And at this point, I am assuming that they did not build a fully backwards set and that they just filmed it and then flipped it in post.
That would be the logical assumption. Is this show logical sometimes?
Which, that means Melissa Joan Hart is acting on her normal set, but has to pretend like it's backwards. And I was convinced. Good acting, Melissa Joan Hart.
Bravo. Back to Cauldron Watch, episode 14, part 2. You do actually see the cauldron in reverse world here. There are pens, and you see a pink pair of scissors. I'd still think there might be a small purple stapler. We discussed the possibility of a stapler several episodes ago, and I think this confirmed there's probably a small stapler in there, and what looks like also a purple ruler. And once again, a long, exasperated, audible sigh ringing throughout my house as I watched this episode and took my notes.
You're just exasperated by the fact that there are pens in the cauldron and she's not using it for something better.
That's really my whole thing is you can put better stuff than pens. You can use a cup for your pens. Use your cool birthday witchy cauldron for witchy cauldron stuff. I don't think I'm asking much.
I know I've talked about this before, but I'm mostly still upset by the fact that she is storing a stapler vertically and not horizontally. That's not how... Staplers need to be on the desk so you can just slide your papers in there and staple them.
Well, if you don't staple often, so you don't want it taking up.
Then you hide it in a drawer and it's still horizontal.
Props department, we need you to.
Stapler etiquette.
Cauldron etiquette. Writers, everyone around this cauldron.
You know what? At least the cauldron didn't just disappear, though, after the first episode. Like, they have kept it in, and it is there.
That's true. And it gives me something to hyper-focus on and be exasperated by.
Yeah.
I guess we can look in a good light about it. Till I see it next time. And then I'm going to sigh really loud.
Just wait till the day when she needs to use it and she's going to take it and dump all the pens out and then use her cauldron.
That's going to be so great.
I don't know if that ever happens, but maybe.
I'm tearing up a little at the thought, so.
Downstairs, Hilda's stomach is rumbling and she asks what's for dinner, but Zelda tells her to just zap something. Hilda conjures up a flan.
And Salem asks, I don't know whether to eat it or attack it, and I feel that, Salem.
Zelda asks Hilda to go check on Sabrina, but Hilda isn't risking getting her head bitten off. They argue over who should go check on her until they decide that Salem should go. Eventually, all three go together, safety in numbers. Sabrina doesn't respond when they knock on her door, however. They enter to find her room empty, but Salem points out the mirror that is now showing thunder, clouds, and lightning. Sabrina is trapped in her own bad mood.
Dun dun dun.
Hilda wishes there was something they could do to help, but Zelda knows Sabrina has got to get herself out of her bad mood. Hilda reminisces about the time she got stuck in her own resentment, and Zelda didn't lift one finger to help her. She never got over it. Sabrina's alarm rings, waking her up. She must have slept through the night. She goes to the mirror, and her ward is gone. She tries to go back through the mirror, but she's stuck. Her reflection reminds her that she wanted to be left alone and cackles, disappearing and leaving clouds behind. Sabrina panics and tries to get out, but the door is stuck. Just then, Brady Anderson appears. He's there to help Sabrina, but isn't sure if he wants to after what she said about his baseball card. Sabrina apologizes. She was in a bad mood and everyone was bugging her. Brady asks her if she considered if the problem was with her, not everyone else. Which, like, you know what? Don't call me out like that. What if it is the whole world? What if I'm the only good one? Sabrina admits she was under a lot of stress, but Brady tells her she needs to learn to control her emotions, not let her emotions control her. He also says it will take Sabrina about 20 years to get good at it, which is false because I still struggle with not snapping at people when I'm hangry or overwhelmed or just mildly irritated. I guess that just shows that I'm not a functioning adult. So thanks, Brady Anderson.
I mean, who is?
Our parents just fully lied to us when they pretended like they had their shit together. None of them did. They were just better liars than we are.
Better actors at it, too.
It's how Sabrina will be able to get home. First, she has to make amends. He opens the bedroom door for her, and Sabrina goes out to start making things right. First, she comes upon a very grumpy Zelda working in the kitchen. Sabrina leaves her alone and looks for everyone else. Salem is upset about his stocks going down.
Can we talk a moment about Salem's medieval knight kitty-themed throne chair, whatever he's sitting on?
Yes.
It is amazing. I need this in every episode from here on out for Salem to sit in.
I noticed it briefly on my rewatch, and I was like, oh, that's a chair. That's a good chair.
Chair made for a cat like Salem.
Hilda is sitting under a thundercloud with it raining on her. Sabrina decides to come back later. At school, Jenny comes up and reveals a very short haircut.
Jenny is now auditioning for a production of Annie.
That is a rough one. Jenny blames Sabrina. She shouldn't have let her do that. Sabrina tries to give her some perspective. First, it looks good. Better than good. It looks fine. And that's a good friend moment. You lie to your friend's face and you tell them they look fine. And second, it's going to grow out. Jenny is relieved. Hair grows. Sabrina tells her to keep repeating that, and immediately Jenny is happier. Sabrina finds Harvey in the library where he is reading The Bell Jar.
Which props to the props department, but ching, get it? For flipping all the books in the library as well. I was watching the library books instead, and it did look like most of the titles were actually flipped.
But are they flipped because they flipped the image in post?
Still giving my props to the prop department, because I like that pun. Thank you and good night. Continue.
When we got to school, that's when I decided that they didn't actually build backwards sets for everything because that would have been insanity to build 2 copies of every set. I know this show has a big budget. I don't think it has that budget. Harvey tells Sabrina to stay away from him. No one should be seen with him after how he embarrassed them. Sabrina explains that she was just in a bad mood. Today, she loves puppets. Harvey admits he and Marty had a fight. Marty is over on the floor. Sabrina picks him up and speaks through the puppet to Harvey, apologizing for how she behaved yesterday.
And Harvey also admits he ripped out Marty's eyes.
They're like dangling by threads.
This is why we don't get more Marty, is because Harvey is a serial killer to spider monkey puppets, much like Hilda is a serial killer to moles named Molly.
Also, did we see if his eyes were dangling when Sabrina was talking for it?
At least one of them was, because that was originally my note.
Okay.
And then it got worse.
Can you imagine your friend trying to talk to you through a spider monkey puppet with its eyes just dangling? Just then, a student, aka Melissa Joan Hart's boyfriend, yells at a goat eating his homework. Sabrina grabs Libby the goat and takes her to the bathroom, where she first apologizes, then zaps her back into a human. Libby is confused as to why she's in the bathroom, and Sabrina tells her she was going to wash her hands. Libby sniffs her hands, then runs to wash them. Sabrina asks if everything is cool between them, and Libby calls her a freak. Sabrina leaves, and Libby dries her hands, eating the paper towel afterwards. Brady is at school in the hallway, and Sabrina tells him she's been making amends. Jenny, Libby, and Harvey are fine, but her bad mood had a ripple effect and spread further. She has to cheer up the whole school, including Mr. Poole. She goes to check on him and finds Mr. Poole sleeping in his classroom in a big coat. He got stuck in the school because of the blizzard, and they turned off the heat. Sabrina knows how to cheer him up. She gets Brady, and Mr. Poole immediately gets excited. He asks for Brady's autograph on his brain model, right along the cerebellum. Harvey and Jenny are walking down the hall, and Harvey is trying to figure out what's different about Jenny. It's her new earrings! And people tell him he's not perceptive.
Oh, Harvey.
Sabrina's voice comes on over the intercom. She apologizes for her bad mood. Can you imagine having to apologize to your entire school every time you were in a bad mood as a teenager? She apologizes for her bad mood and tells everyone to go to the cafeteria for a surprise. Inside is a giant flan. They eat it while REM Shiny Happy People plays. And fun fact, that used to be the theme song for the unaired pilot of Friends before it was replaced by the Rembrandts' I'll Be There For You.
I think using the Rembrandts was the right choice for Friends.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Sabrina offers some to Libby, but she says she's not hungry. When Sabrina leaves, she starts eating the napkin instead.
I'm not gonna lie, once Brady said it's a ripple effect, you have to cheer up the whole school, I was expecting Funky Song to come back in some way there. Instead, it was flan, and this is the scene that made me very uncomfortable thinking about flan and just seeing the kids like kneeling at the giant flan, just eating directly from it. Like, I'll eat some of the US flan, but it's gonna be a moment before I can have a bite again. After the scene.
This is where my parents showed up and they were watching this scene with me, and my mom was like, "What is that?" And I had to pause it and explain it to them. Sabrina comes home carrying more flan and uses it to cheer up Zelda. Salem comes running in when he hears flan, as does Hilda. Sabrina runs upstairs. She's going home. Brady is in her bedroom again to say goodbye. He helps her back through the mirror. In the real dimension, Sabrina comes running down the stairs and apologizes for her bad mood. The ants have cleaned up her mess for her. They kept the snow going for a snow day and changed Libby back from a goat. Sabrina realizes the world kept going without her and runs to the phone to call Jenny to tell her not to cut her hair. And on the whiteboard, I can finally read one of the things listed, and it is cranberry sauce. For some reason in January, these witches need cranberry sauce. Sabrina is in such a good mood, they should celebrate. Hilda conjures a flan, and Sabrina says, "This is great, great, great." They all look at her suspiciously, but she reassures them that she was being sincere.
You know, a way Sabrina could have helped cheer Hilda up, because she didn't necessarily try to. She has Brady Anderson with her. Mr. Poole and Hilda in one, just gonna say.
But also, Hilda's easier to please with flan. In our end tag, Sabrina is zapping different sweaters on in front of her mirror, all of which are very 90s looking. Eventually, she gets back to this first sweater that she tried on, and her reflection gets frustrated and walks away, refusing to do this anymore.
And we have an episode.
It was a fun one. There is a lot of episodes, though, where they really do like repetitive phrases or words.
Yeah, we didn't even cover half the greats that go on in this episode.
No, I did not want to write all of them.
It's valid.
Or say all of them.
So the real drinking game lies when you watch this episode.
So I'm wondering if this is going to be continued throughout the whole. I mean, we're already over halfway through season 1, so I wonder if it's still going to keep going and when we will be out of the repetitiveness.
I'd say any episode that has Nell Scoville attached has the possibility of a repeating phrase. Can't trust that Nell guy.
Nell a girl?
I can't trust that Nell person.
Our next episode is season 1, episode 15, Hilda and Zelda, the Teenage Years. I'm excited for this one. Skye, what are your guesses for this one?
I want it to be a time travel episode so bad. Then my mind goes into this wormhole of what time period would their teenage years even be? Could get a ton of answers. Could be hella confused. My suspicion is, though, we are not going to get their teenage years. We're going to get something like Band Candy from Buffy, where the adults become teenagers.
If you like us, like, share, rate, subscribe this podcast. You can also email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com. If you have thoughts on who your sports spirit guide would be, or what animal you think would be crappy to be turned into, or if you're any one of the people we have called out asking for information. Or if you just have other information you think we should be interested in, random baseball facts, random 1997 basketball facts, whatever you want. You just tell us whatever makes you happy. Until next time.
Stay meowgical.